Good morning and welcome to Inside South Florida. I'm Dave Azer. Today, if you're trying to quit smoking but you just can't do it, you might want to check out the electronic smokeless cigarette. We've got all the details about it. Plus, you could actually have a rare stamp that's worth a ton of money and you don't even know it. We'll tell you why stamp collecting is a great hobby for you and your family. And if you're suffering through a horrible tragedy and you feel like you're all alone, there's a great local organization that wants to help you get through it. All that and more as Inside South Florida starts now. It's one of the most common New Year's resolutions. You want to quit smoking, but you just can't seem to do it. Well, here's Andres Verler of South Florida company V2 Cigs to tell you why the electronic smokeless cigarette might be the way to make that resolution come true. Andres, good to have you here. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you for having me.
All right, let's dive right into it. Tell me about the electronic cigarette. What is it? How does it work?
Well, the electronic cigarette is essentially a smoke-free alternative to traditional tobacco. It is a product that generates a water vapor type mist, very similar to cigarette smoke, that truly simulates the smoking experience for the end user.
All right, we're going to dive into the specifics of how it works as you spoke it right there. But let's bring up your South Florida angle and the fact that this company is based in South Florida and you have a pretty big presence down here.
Definitely, definitely. Our company was founded in South Florida. It was actually founded roughly 4 years ago in an apartment in North Bay Village. We expanded from the apartment into a house on the water, and now into a corporate office and a large distribution center. The company grew from 4 staff to 120 staff in the local South Florida market.
And I know you're one of the founders. Was part of the impetus because you were smoking a lot and wanted to figure out a way to stop doing that, or what?
Well, I've worked primarily in the online marketing realm, and we were, marketing all kinds of different products, and we were looking for sort of the next big thing. And we had reviewed so many different products, and I was a heavy smoker at the time, literally 3 packs a day. And it was funny because I sort of combined a personal angle on things and brought in a product that I was using personally. And at that point in time, the technology was not very developed. It was quite crude. The things didn't work so well. You got liquid in your mouth, and we dived into the business, embraced it, and what was originally supposed to be a small part of our business grew to be our business.
Right, and it's very successful. You're the largest online retailer in the world, is that right?
Yes. Our primary website, v2cigs.com, gets over 5 million unique visitors a month in the US, and it's in the top 1,500 websites in America.
Okay, so let's kind of break this down, X's and O's, if you will, how this works. I know you touched on it a little bit in the beginning, but someone who's addicted to smoking, who feels like there's no way I'm ever going to be able to quit, how does your product help them?
Well, we don't necessarily market the product as a smoking cessation tool, but rather as an alternative to smoke. The product has so many benefits to a person who's a heavy smoker who wants to make the transition. One, the product has no tar, no smoke, no carbon monoxide. The product creates no ash. There's no secondhand smoke. There's no smell or the foul odors that linger in your car or your office. And that's really brought a lot of consumers to the technology.
So it's just water vapor with flavoring? What are you breathing in? What are you smoking in?
Well, basically what it is we utilize, and just to show you, most electronic cigarettes, and they come sort of in 2 forms. One would be like a disposable electronic cigarette, which you just use and you throw it away. But both products, be it that or a rechargeable. Rechargeable is where you have a rechargeable battery and a cartridge. The cartridge contains a base solution, some sort of liquid. In this particular case, we use propylene glycol or a vegetable glycerin base. And then we add to that food flavoring to make it sort of taste like a menthol or a tobacco or whatever flavor we're trying to achieve. And in certain cases, we add nicotine.
Okay. Are there any health risks associated with this at all?
The product, compared to smoking traditional tobacco cigarettes, it's night and day. The absence of over 400 harmful chemicals that are contained in cigarettes, we've narrowed it down to strictly the nicotine. So similar to a patch or a gum or a nicotine lozenger, we still deliver the nicotine component, which is a lot of the reason why we don't market this product to anyone other than traditional smokers. But the comparison is just dramatic.
And where's the FDA on all this? Where do they come in?
Well, the FDA, is an organization that's sort of been put in a very difficult place because they don't necessarily, their philosophy and their way of dealing with regulation is a product is either good or it's bad, And with that said, they're looking for substantial studies from the industry. And the product is so new that to get these studies out could be 8, 9, 10 years. The medical community has truly embraced the product, and we believe that the FDA at some point in time in the near future will be issuing some form of deeming regulation, and we will become a regulated industry just like tobacco. But as a final point, it's important to point out that just like traditional tobacco cigarettes, we're not approved by the American FDA.
Okay, but you guys as a company, you sort of take pride in your, the attention that you pay to making this as healthy as possible. From what I understand.
Of course, yes. Right. We have an extensive quality control process. In fact, we were one of the first company to become very transparent with the consumer in that every single product we sell, for instance, this is a 5-pack of cartridges. On the side of the cartridges, there's a batch number. And the customers can go right to our website, type in the batch number, and up pops a comprehensive chemical testing report on every batch of liquid we make, and a safety report.
Are you hearing any stories from any users, any thank yous, any testimonials, you've made me healthier, you saved my life, anything like that?
It's unbelievable. On the 7th floor of our office, we have a room where we pretty much just store all of the gifts we've been sent. We've gotten hand-knit pillows from ladies in Missouri. We've gotten testimonial letters. We've got boxes and boxes of letters about the impact that the products had in people's lives. And it's just dramatic. I mean, you go to YouTube, there must be 500 videos up there just about our brand alone. On our forum, we get 700 posts a day in our forum.
Yeah.
So it's definitely having an impact in people's lives.
What's a realistic timetable? And I understand every smoker is different, how much they smoke, how long they've been smoking, but realistically, somebody's watching our show, they smoke a pack a day, whatever.
Yeah.
How long does it take before they've transitioned all the way off cigarettes, most of the way off cigarettes by using your products?
Well, I'd probably break the customer down into 3 types of consumers that usually come to the electronic cigarette. First and foremost, you have the individual that they just want to stop smoking. They want to move to something different, and they literally pick up the electronic cigarette one day, and they're determined to quit smoking traditional cigarettes, and they just move. Another third of the consumers are people that smoke the product or use the product for those times when they cannot smoke. They're looking for something they can use in their office. They're looking for something they can use in their car if they have a spouse that doesn't smoke, or in a bar or a public restaurant. And then you also have people that are looking to end the addiction altogether. And what they'll do is they'll start with a higher nicotine cartridge and sort of scale their way down. We don't necessarily regulate the way the customers use the product, but there's no doubt that with over 4 million Americans using electronic cigarettes, that it's making a difference.
Sure, I mean, it's obviously working. So then I guess sort of in conclusion, the last thing I would ask you would be, what advice would you have for somebody? Because look, you know better than I do, so many people want to quit smoking. They do, and it's been really hard for them. What advice do you have for somebody who thinks the whole process is just really daunting and overwhelming?
Well, you have to stick with it, and being determined is probably the first step. I think that, products like electronic cigarettes and MRTP products like snus, harm reduction products, even the gums and the patches and the lozenges and everything else, they're great products, and I believe we have the most effective one. But the first step is making a commitment to change, and really, this will never mimic a cigarette 100%, but it's a useful tool, and it's worked for me.
All right, well, great stuff. Continued best of luck, and it's nice that you're doing this in South Florida, giving some people jobs down here, and that's always great as well. So it was great to meet you.
I'm glad you had me on the show.
Thank you.
Take care.
For more information about V2 Cigs, just go to their website, v2cigs.com. You can learn all about the product and find out how much money you can save. When we come back, you may have a rare stamp worth so much money and you don't even know it. We're going to tell you all about stamp collecting when Inside South Florida returns.